Hey Marko, buddy, how are you? Yeah, good mate. I'm just waiting for this AFC Champions League quarterfinal draw to come out, and I was wondering when you guys are in town for the game we play against you. Yeah, yeah. I was wondering if you want to catch up maybe the night before or something. Yeah, no. Just to catch up. I probably can't afford to get another foreigner on the books, but just to catch up, couple of Kiwis, couple of beers night before a game. I mean, yeah, it's not very professional, I suppose, from your end, but okay. Awesome. Yep. No worries. Yep. I'll teach you something closer to the time. Cool, mate. See. Yep. Good luck, but not too much good luck. Yeah. See you, mate. See you, mate. Oh, draw. Of course we freaking get them. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. Today, we play our first game on camera in the Chinese Super League since we've come to Beijing Guoan anyway, and it is against Guangzhou Evergrande in a first versus fourth clash. So if you're looking forward to that, remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're new around here or haven't done so already, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we start today on the draw page for the AFC Champions League, the quarterfinals. So it is staying in top half and bottom half up until the final. So that narrowed down who we could get quite considerably. Two other Chinese teams, or the team that we turned down job-wise from Korea. And sure enough, we got Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors from Korea. So that is the team who we're going to be playing in a few episodes' time. We still have a couple of months to get through before we get to that game, but that is the team who we're going to be taking on. A tasty clash indeed. And then if we get past them, we play the winner of Shanghai Port and Shandong Luneng in the semi-finals. And if we can get to the final, that's when we take on a team from either Saudi Arabia, Qatar, or the UAE. So that's how it's going to work for the rest of this AFC Champions League. But the first leg of that quarterfinal does not happen until late August. So we've still got a fair bit of stuff to get through before we get to that. And we have played quite a bit of stuff off camera since yesterday's episode as well, which if you have missed, I will leave a link to in the top right corner. Both legs against MacArthur FC in the second round, the knockouts, and we breezed past those guys 7-1 over both legs. So good stuff for us there. We won't show you guys highlights for these games that we've played off camera for this episode anyway, because we've played 7 games and it would take us a fair while to get through that. But you can see in the Super League, we got 4 wins off the back of that against teams who, to be fair, we should have been beating all sort of middle to lower table. So good to see us do that. Then we played our FA Super Cup quarter-final against the Guangzhou Mighty Lions and picked up a 3-1 win there as well. So we are in the semi-finals of the FA Super Cup here in China, and we'll go down a bit further. You'll see that we are playing Guangzhou R and F in that game. So that's a pretty nice tie for us, to be fair, because you look at the other tie, and it is Guangzhou Evergrande, today's opposition, playing Haibi China Fortune. So 2 teams really in the title hunt, whereas we are taking on a team who are sort of in the middle to bottom part of the table. So it's a really nice draw for us, and touch wood, we should be making our way through to that final and meeting the board's expectation for that competition. So that's a good thing for us. But off the back of that game, 2 draws. So that's a little bit frustrating going into this game. We put out a pretty heavily rotated team against DL Pro because they are bottom of the league. A 1-1 draw, and then we took on Shandong Luneng and another 1-1 draw against a team who are a bit higher up, and they are still in the Champions League, of course. So not as disappointed with that result, even though we did play quite a strong team in that game. But the DL Pro result, a bit frustrating, but luckily the teams around us have also been faltering, and what that means is we are top of the table by a point and with a game in hand over the 2 teams below us. But if Guangzhou Evergrande do beat us today, they will go top. You will see at the end of last episode, I sort of suggested that this would be a 3-horse race between us, Haibi, and Guangzhou, but Shanghai Port have come rushing out of nowhere, only 1 point behind us. Hopefully a win today will get that gap out to 4 points. Also, the Euros have wrapped up. Of course, we did have Svanberg at those in the Sweden squad, and as you can see, they finished second, picking up 2 wins against Russia and Spain and drawing with Germany, so equal top of the group with them. So they made their way through to the knockout rounds, while Spain were knocked out in the group stage. So good work by our Swedish brothers there. And then in the first knockout round, they did beat the Czech Republic after extra time, so made their way through to the quarterfinals as well. So a decent tournament for the Swedes. But unfortunately, in the quarterfinals, they were drawn against England, and that proved a bridge too far, losing that 2-0. And if we make our way further forward, it was a final between England and France, and in the end, it was the French who got the job done 3-2 at the Johan Cruyff Arena. So a good tournament there for Sweden, but they couldn't get the job done. Pretty good tournament, as I said, for them, though. I don't think you'd be expecting Sweden to win, but it does mean that France are the European champions for the first time since the save started, defeating the defending European champions in game in England. So we do have Svanberg back, which is good, because as you'll see shortly, there's another international tournament that has started, and it is the Olympics. So this is the under-23 tournament at the Olympics, but we're still missing quite a few players for this tournament. We'll go to our tactics screen and we'll make our way down. You'll see the players on international duty: Wei Hei, Wang Jun, Li Junji, and He Guo King. They are all out, as well as a player who we have signed but who is in our reserve team. It is, of course, the transfer window. I will say we've signed some players. I'll show you the guy who is also at the Olympics shortly. But with the way our squad dynamics here look, very good, excellent atmosphere. I felt like we'd just leave the first team as it was, and we've been signing some young international prospects for the future. Just looking to bolster up the general stocks of the club to try and see if we can get some younger players coming through with good potential who can, after a few years, hopefully make China their second nationality. And that way, that will help the club long term, even though we may not be here at that stage. But another reason we've been chucking players in the reserves is because if we have a look at one of the tiebreakers in the league here in China, it is that behind the result between teams, the second tiebreaker is the ranking in the reserve league. So there's a little bit of method to my madness there. Just been bulking out the reserve team somewhat to try and make that team a bit stronger than it is, because that could become important, as at the moment the Chinese Super League is quite tight towards the top of the table. So we've made a few transfers, no first team players, so we won't run you guys through all of them, but we've chucked a fair few in the reserve team just in case it can help us clinch the league title on that second tiebreaker. And this is our transfer page. So the transfer window opened at the start of July. As you can see, we've brought in a lot of players. The big one who cost us 11 million euros. He came from a second division Chinese club in Chongqing Lifan, and that was Pedro Pizarro. He is a very promising right back from Argentina, 18 years old. Not sure why he was in the Chinese second division. I think he was at a club who got relegated from the top division last year. Look at him, really good player. We've gone on a fringe player that's going to step up over the next couple of years, but he isn't too disappointed at being in the reserve team at the moment, so we'll stick with that. Of course, we've got Kang Jungmin as our first choice right back, and with him being from another Asian country, it does mean that we're allowed to keep him as an extra foreign player for the Champions League, so we definitely need to keep him in the first team. But this guy is a very promising right back. Still has a few more years to get Chinese option as a second nationality, but being only 18, he looked like a really good purchase for us. 11 million euros, looks really good, and happy to have him on board, albeit we might not end up using him, but he's the main transfer we've brought in, and we've brought in a lot of other players around that, just cheap pickups who can strengthen the overall depth that we have here at the club, and mainly, just as I said, to bulk out that reserve team just in case that reserve league does become quite important in determining who takes out the league title here in China. But back to the team sheet, because what those Olympic changes mean for us is that we've got a few different faces in what is going to be, for the next month or so, our first choice team. It's also a reason why I suspect the Asian Champions League isn't restarting until late August, because they probably want the best players available for that. And if you hit the Olympics and that going at the same time, probably not ideal. So now I can see why there's such a big gap between the second knockout round and the quarterfinals. But we are pretty similar at the back. We've got Li Liang in goal for Junji. We've also got a 2.5-star rated keeper in the reserves in Shin Changyi, but he had a howler a couple of episodes ago in a highlight game. So we're going to stick with the 2-star rated goalkeeper for now. We've made some big changes in the midfield and up front. Oceania has gone from the box to up front, as he is probably the best striker at the club anyway. And with Wang Jun at the Olympics, we're going to put him up there. We've put Chen Hongjing, who is now going to be our captain, with Wang at the Olympics. He's going to come in on the right wing with Willock stepping into the box-to-box role, and then with both Wei He and Hai Xiao Qing also at the Olympics, Zheng and He will come into the midfield for them. So it's a bit of a makeshift side, not as strong as we could be, but no doubt that's going to be similar for quite a few other teams for the next month or so. And hopefully we can just stick near the top of the table. It's going to be a really tricky little patch for us in the domestic league, but hopefully we can get enough points to stay at the very least in that sort of top four, not too far off top spot once we get the full complement of players back after the Olympics. Hopefully we can get back on track should our form drop. But that's the team that we've got at the moment. A little bit weaker than what we'd like, but we can't do much with those Olympics taking place at the same time. But today, as I said, Guangzhou Evergrande Marko Stamenic is at this club. Of course, our former Kiwi who used to be at Monaco with us. You can see, very good player, still at 30 years old, 90 New Zealand caps, not at the Olympics, which is interesting. I thought he would have been one of the better over-age players, although I'm not too sure if that's a rule in this game, but it is in the real-life Olympics. Of course, Chris Wood is at the Olympics for New Zealand, and those coming up shortly. But I thought Marko Stamenic might have been that player in this save. He's not, so he's still at Guangzhou. Hopefully those beers the night before might just put him off a little bit should he get a chance to win the game for them. But hopefully we can beat these guys without that being an issue. But first, fourth against a team who only have one player away on international duty while we have four is a little bit concerning. But as you can see, our previous form against them is quite good. Hopefully we can keep that up. We'll be back shortly from the Workers' Stadium for this first fourth clash in the Chinese Super League. And here is the team sheets on screen. There's our side. As we said, a few changes, but still a decent team, and hopefully we can keep picking up some points to stay in the hunt. And there is Guangzhou. You can see Stamenic on the bench, in fact. So that's an interesting decision by them. It might be due to the foreign player rule. You are only allowed to have 4 players starting of foreign nationality and 1 more on the bench. But yeah, interesting that they're not starting him, one of the best players in the league. Hopefully we can make the most of that, but no doubt he'll come on later to try and provide some bench impact, will the fellow New Zealander and former man who we had at Monaco. But we are kicking off in the green, playing left to right, and Guangzhou Evergrande are in the red with the white shorts. Early tackle to get possession off us, and they hoof it long, and it remains 0-0 early doors. 17 minutes gone here. We do have a goal kick. We've looked a better side in this game so far, picked up a few yellow cards, creating chances, but they've been pretty wasteful with them. We have not really getting enough on target, but we look to go forward here through Chen. Tries to play a ball through. It is cleared away from Guangzhou, but we get back on it fairly soon after and look to build again. Zheng is on the ball, finds Joe Willock, plays one over for Kang Jungmin, and he puts a ball in the mix. A good chance here for Willock, but his shot is blocked, and it will still remain 0-0 after 18 minutes, although we might get another attack on the go here as we hold the ball up in midfield, and Hay puts the ball over for Anderson. Over to Willock. We need these foreigners to step up. Good ball played through for Oceania there. It is blocked. We'll go out for a corner, and Oceania will try and put one to find either Diakabe or Soleil's head. He puts it in, and it is cleared away by Guangzhou, and they get on the counter-attack, and nothing doing though. It's still 0-0 after 20 minutes, although now we have a free kick, which Fan will find Hay from, and Willock on the ball, looking to keep this good start we've had, but just be a bit more clinical with our chances, get a few more on target, because that's been our issue so far. Anderson, Orestanio, he tries to get a shot off, and an interesting back pass there from Shaun, but Li Ran tidies things up for us. I think that's a goalkeeper who we sold to them from our under-19s. He didn't have a lot of potential, but they were willing to pay 1.5 million euro for him, albeit I think that was a compensation deal where we couldn't keep him on contract anyway, so they pinched him off us. And there is Anderson with a goal. Blabbing on too much, it was an interesting ball put in there by Chen, I believe, and it just found its way through as Willock was on the ball here for us. He makes his way forward to Willock, putting the ball across, the usual right winger. That's what I was looking for. They try and clear it through Otasawi, but the clearance falls straight to Anderson. Simple tap-in, and after 22 minutes, we have our goal, and it's 1-0. And we now have a throw-in, and Fan plays the ball forward. It goes straight to Lee Run, and he tidies things up, but we're starting to pick things up a little bit more, getting a bit more impetus going forward. We've looked good so far, as I said, but now we do have that goal advantage, which is good to see, although Guangzhou are now in possession and on the ball. That's a really nice slide tackle from Orestanio. and we look to get them on the break. Anderson makes his way forward. What can he do? Tries to get past his man, can't. Puts the ball across, it's cleared away just. Back out to Kang, and we now look to build again. Nice ball over for Anderson. What can he do? Gets past his man. Oceania for a shot, and Lee Run nearly ends up in his own goal, but it does remain 1-0 for now. And a throw in now for Guangzhou in the 26th minute. So a bit of action happening now after a fairly quiet start, it has to be said. And it's Guangzhou just holding the ball up and looking to exploit some space, no doubt. But we're closing them down pretty nicely at the moment, although now Lin makes his way forward down that right-hand side back to Lees and Otasawi. And we close them down. They put a ball over the top and Fan tidies that up nicely for us. And hopefully we can get them on the counter. Anderson making his way forward yet again. The first goal scorer for today. Fan over to Hay. We're just building up nicely here by the looks of it. Zeng making his way infield. Diakabe out to Kang. Looking to find some space at the moment and make it 2-0 in this game. Nice ball there for Chen. Can he put this away? Good save by Lee Ran that time, and it does remain 1-0. And we've made our way to halftime in this Chinese Super League game. 1-0 up, a game that, as you can see, stat-wise, really dominating. Probably should have another goal by now. We've created a few good chances, but as I said, we didn't really get enough shots on target until that 20 to 30 minute mark when all those highlights came. That was really the only time where we looked super threatening. We got that goal through Anderson for a little bit of good luck after a botched clearance from Guangzhou, but looking pretty good. 1-0 up. Hopefully we can keep playing the way we're playing because it's looking pretty good so far. And hopefully, as I said, pick up 3 points, which would be quite good here, considering the players that are away at the Olympics for us. A result like this to put us 4 points clear at the top of the table. And it will be Guangzhou kicking off, playing left to right in the second half, and they are looking to strike back early, no doubt, and get this game back on even terms. But hopefully we can snuff out this kickoff highlight, as it's Yuzhan who is knocking the ball about with Otasawi in defence, and they're playing out from the back at the moment, and they will get the ball, keep it, and now that's a terrible mistake from Kang, and they bury it, and just like that, straight after halftime, with their first shot on target, it is back to 1-1, and that's a really poor start from us. Kang Jung-min, who has been pretty good for us so far, one of the best players on the park outside of Anderson. It's a ball played over from Buffby, and he just misses his header. Zhao Jimbo was able to capitalise on that, put that away in the bottom right corner, and just after half-time, it's back at 1-1. 47 minutes gone, and Guangzhou with a goal kick, looking to pull the misery on us even more after that early equaliser in the second half. So a really poor start to the half from us, but we look to strike back immediately with an instant reply. Anderson cutting inside the box, plays one over for Chen, but the shot is blocked. It was from pretty close range, but the defence just getting in the way enough to keep that out. We will have a corner here, and hopefully we can get a shot on target from this, but it's headed away by Guangzhou. Zeng tidies things up for us, plays it forward to Hay, so he might still have a highlight coming. Nice ball for Chen again, but he runs it out, and it remains 1-1. 53 minutes gone here, and we have a free kick. Soleil to Willock. We take it short, but look to keep possession and hopefully get another chance to try and get our lead back in this game. The ball taken off us briefly by Guangzhou, but they clear it straight to Diakabe. And now we look to get something going down this right-hand side as Chen waits for Kang to get in free space, and he looks to make up for his error, which led to that equalising goal. Just him and Chen connecting well. Tries to put a ball in, but Lee Run claims it pretty safely, albeit this highlight does continue. They boot one deep, and Willett gets the ball before the Guangzhou player, so we will keep possession. And now Fan Yanan in a lot of space down the left-hand side. What can he do? Finds Willock back over to Zeng. He finds Anderson, tries to slot Oceania through, but it is shot straight at Lee Run, and it remains 1-1. Another free kick for us here through Soleil, and in a similar spot to the last one. We try and play a ball over for Oceania, but Guangzhou cut that out. We're pressing them quite tight, but the goalkeeper gets that clearance off just in time. But Kang Jung-min will get something going for us here, and we look to mount another attack, trying to get this lead back. Good slide tackle there from one of the Guangzhou players, but we do get possession back now. Fanyanan, nice ball for Oceania, and that's a really good finish from our Italian midfielder come striker, and it is back at 2-1 just before the hour mark. Some nice patient build-up from us there, and we've got our lead back. We nearly lost possession there, but Hay finds Willock over to Anderson, back to Willock, can spot the run from Fan, and Oristanio somehow gets that shot off. Really nice angle, nothing the goalkeeper can do, and we're back to a 2-1 lead. 64 minutes gone here, and we're going to make some changes. We've got Soleil in defence on a yellow card, so he might bring his fellow Frenchman and Kamara on, as that's going to allow us to keep with the foreign player limit on the field. So I think that's the first change we are going to make. And we've also got Joe Willock on a red card, or we'll just tell Kamara to ease off tackles. He will make sure that's all sorted out, but Willock will take off as well. And I think in terms of a replacement for him, it will have to be Lun Hao will come on. We might even switch him around with Zafeng, as I think Zafeng is a bit more of an attacking threat and a bit more suited to that box-to-box midfielder role, perhaps. So we'll make those changes, 2 changes, just after the hour mark, and hopefully we can hold on to this 2-1 lead. A corner very soon after making those substitutions to us. Oristanio puts it in. It's allowed to bounce, but no one can get their head to it for us, albeit we are able to tidy up the clearance and stay inside the Guangzhou half and look to build another attack. If we can get that cushion goal that we often crave, that would be very nice, as we know that we can concede quite late. Anderson losing possession there after a good slide tackle from Guangzhou, but Kamara fresh on the field will tidy that up fairly comfortably for us as we look to mount another attack. And as I said, try and really grab this game by the scruff of the neck and get a 2-goal lead. Although Anderson on a nice run for us here. Here's a shot. It's blocked. And now Hay with a shot forces a good save out of Lee Ran. And we will have a corner. That's a good bit of play from us. But yet again, we cannot put the ball in the back of the net. But 2-1 up. Can't complain too much. The corner straight at the goalkeeper though. And it does remain 2-1. 73 minutes gone, and Guangzhou do have a throw-in. They play it across, although that's a good interception there from Anderson. Good effort from him on a red heart. We might have to take him off soon, but this is a great chance for him. He has a shot, but Lee Ran, it was pretty much straight at him, to be fair. That was a golden chance for us. Unfortunately, Anderson cannot get his second for the game. We have a corner. No one can get their head to it for us again, although we are able to mount another attack by the looks of this highlight. Oristanio and a lot of space on the right, having just taken that corner, holds the ball up, but we do lose possession, and it looks like for now anyway, it's going to remain 2-1, although Guangzhou look to get an attack going on the counter. Lin makes his way forward. Good foot in there from Fan, and another one. That's really good work from our left back, and now he drives forward. Does Fan Yanan. What can he do? Tries to have a shot himself. Lee Ram parries it away, not very convincingly, but it will go out for a throw-in at the 75-minute mark. And I think we're going to have to make a change here, although we have another highlight. Fan Yanan throws this in. Anderson tries to keep it. Fan will tidy things up. We're going to have to take Anderson or Oristani off soon. I think Anderson might be the more logical option. As a chance here. Another one straight at the keeper. Yeah, I think we have to bring Tian on for him. That red heart just doesn't seem to be converting his chances as well as he was earlier in the game. So we'll bring some fresh legs on because he's getting into good positions. Hopefully Tian can do the same for us, a player who has been good. So we'll tell the assistant to do it. And it's still 2-1 as we get to the 76th minute. We have a free kick straight at Lee Ran, and it does remain 2-1. 90 minutes gone. It's a free kick to Guangzhou. They've brought Stamenic on, as you can see, just on the ball now. And they look to pinch an equaliser. They hit it up to Stamenic, and he is on the ball just inside the box, puts a ball in, it's blocked. There's all sorts going on. Now, have they blown a penalty? I don't see much there. Maybe there's a push in the back. VAR is going to check this. This would be very harsh if they give this, because overall balance of the game, we've looked a better team, and it is a penalty indeed. Who is stepping up for it? This could be interesting. Who is their penalty taker? It's Marko. Okay, did the hangover trick work? Yes, it did. He's missed it. Love to see it. We've done him there with the hangover, the Bears the night before, and it looks like we might cling on, although they do have a throw-in. They do have possession. We clear it away in the 94th minute. It's over referee's time. They play it forward, and that is it. We've really got away with that one. We didn't allow the many shots on goal. You can see only 2 shots on target in the game. The XG, no doubt, would have gone up quite significantly with that late penalty, but on the overall balance of the game, we did deserve to be winning that one. Nearly gifted it to them late, but luckily a bit of a hungover Marko Stamenic misses the penalty after coming on late. So our trick worked with our fellow Kiwi. They will teach him for going out on the booze the night before a game when he's playing. It's okay when you're a manager, but 2-1 win and really good stuff, and that allows us to get that 4-point gap at the top of the table in the Super League. So good stuff, especially with those players out for the Olympics. So that's a really good result for us. And hopefully from here we can kick on for this little patch without those first choice players in the Super League. So a nice win for us there, keeping up a good record against Guangzhou Evergrande, and that means we extend our lead at the top of the table to 4 points. You can see if we had won those games that we drew in our last couple against DL Pro and Shandong, then we would have a pretty nice gap at the top, be on 42 points, which would be a lot nicer than where we are, but we got the 3 points today, and that's what matters. You can see how Shanghai Port have also climbed up there with 5 straight wins, might even be more, but they are definitely a threat to us. But we do have that 4-point gap over them, so we can afford to slip up, but hopefully that is not an issue, albeit it could very much be a possibility with some players out for the Olympics, as we've mentioned a few times in today's episode. But good stuff from us to pick up that win. A little bit lucky with that missed penalty from Marko, but I think we did him there with the booze the night before. So in terms of when we're going to be back, I think we need to do one more episode before we get to that Champions League quarterfinal, because it is still a fair way away. We've got Shanghai Port coming up at the start of August and Haibi in a couple of games after that. Shanghai Port still in the hunt for the Champions League. So I think with that in mind, we might come back for the Haibi China Fortune game instead. That was the game that before we got into the transfer window back in yesterday's episode, I was looking at coming back for it. So I think I'll stick to my guns for that one, but we'll definitely show you guys highlights of that game in tomorrow's episode against Shanghai Port, as that could be quite important. If we can pinch a break on them, we should be in quite a good position to be taking out the Chinese Super League, albeit both of the games against those teams in and around us could be quite important. But if we're able to win both of them, that will put us in a really nice spot to be taking out the league title here in China. But if you did enjoy today's episode, a tight 2-1 win over Guangzhou Evergrande, then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. And until tomorrow, we'll be back in the Super League taking on Haibi China Fortune. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.